Hey everyone, my name is Penny Zanker, and it's time to reset. This podcast goes beyond just navigating change. It's about new ways of thinking about how you can approach challenges, how you can shift your mindset when needed, create some space and grace for yourself so that you can rethink, recharge, and reprioritize when and where needed. Are you ready to unlock your full potential? Thank you for hitting play and sharing this next episode with me. It's time to reset. Hello, and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zanker, and I'm your host. And on this show, as you know, we're looking to make you work smarter, not harder. Actually, we're supporting you. You can't make you. We're supporting you to work smarter. But all too often, we get caught up in the just work a little harder, and it doesn't work. So I'm excited here to have a good friend, a fantastic author and speaker and consultant with me. Brenda Reynolds is here today, and she says that change is inevitable. There you go. And the question is, how can we use it as a reset moment for moving forward towards greater resilience? She's using my language. I love it. So basically, she's a 2 times Amazon bestselling author. She asserts that certainty and stability aren't the answer to making great leaps. Change and disorienting events are. She's a leadership and organizational consultant, a TEDx speaker. Oh yeah, I left that one off before. And she shares her latest work, The 5 Frogs, hence all the leaping and jumping references. It's a 5 Frogs transformation journal and a 5 Frogs framework that we're going to hear more about today to discuss strategies for embracing our now what moments as fuel for unleashing a why not and becoming even more resilient in the workplace and in the life space. So Brenda, hey.
Hey, let's leap into this conversation.
I love how in your intro, you just stuck in the reset moments, that's cool.
I was born in a reset moment and it's never ended. From childhood, I was prepared to work with people during their reset moments. And as a living, that's what I still do.
That's funny. So, okay, tell me, what are you talking about? You were born into a reset moment and you helped other people. What does that mean? You have to explain upon that.
Well. When you have very young parents, as I did, who were not planning to be together and have children at their young age.
I get you. So you were whoops.
I was a big whoops. And so I was born into the open arms of uncertainty and 2 people who had to take that moment. And fortunately for me, right, they took a pause and they decided to bring me into the world. But they had to take many, many pauses to this day to get very intentional about what they were going to do and how to turn that into something really positive. So
but was born like into that. Don't we all, right? Yeah. I mean, in the context of when we stop pausing and thinking about things, I think that's when we get ourselves into trouble and we get off our intention and our goal and what we're really looking forward to achieving or experiencing.
Right. Otherwise, we're just in blind reflex. And blind reflex can lead us to some pretty bad places.
Yeah. So let's talk about how that applies to your work, right? So you've just written your first book, which actually wasn't in your intro, although you said 2 times. So it's behind you there, TBD, right? It's the abbreviation, right? To be determined, and the 5 Frogs. So just tell us, other than you being born in an uncertain situation, what makes this important to you?
It's important to me, really, I started thinking in my own pauses about what impact I wanted to have on the world. And what it evolved to was I want to make a difference in corporate America with leaders who have a bigger impact than they may even remember. It's easy to forget when you're a leader just how much impact you have, but you spread a big ripple through the culture, through the teams, through the individuals who then go home in whatever mental, emotional space they do. And that ripple transcends the family, their friends, the family dog. I mean, everyone is affected by it. So it just felt to me like the place I felt I could make a difference that would spread a really big ripple.
Yeah, it's like that rock that goes across the water, right? It skips into realms, into from the work to home to our children. And then where does that go from each person who's affected from that? So that is so true. So let's stick with the 5 frogs because we only have a short show. Tell us about this transformational framework.
The transformational framework, Penny, I was thinking about it relative to the work you're doing and your new book coming out on the reset mindset. The framework is really born of a huge reset practice. When something changes, whether we choose it or don't choose it, it's imposed or not imposed, welcome or unwelcome, we really find ourselves in a reset moment. And we can either just react and go into blind reflex, or we use the reset moment and say, this could be here to serve me. And it really came out of my life going sideways in 2008 when the economy took a nosedive. And that happened for so many of us. It was a huge reset moment for so many of us. And so did every part of my life have to change as a result of getting divorced and temporarily closing my consulting practice and going back into a corporate position, just a lot of change. And when I reflected back on those times, I realized there were 5 phases I went through that were part of that big reset. You start with the F. So the 5 frogs is an acronym. The F stands for the part of the process where you are freaking out because things feel like they're falling apart. And if you get stuck in freak out and you don't get intentional and conscious, this could lead you down a really dark path.
Which happens for a lot of people. I have to tell you what I love about your framework is that it's real. Like that first phase is real. We're not already jumping into the solution. You're acknowledging where people are at. You're meeting where they're at. And I think that is so crucial because so many frameworks don't do that.
Penny, there are a lot of F words that happen in this phase, right? I mean, we are like, I'm freaking out. I'm frustrated. Things are falling apart. I'm at a fork in the road. The occasional F it, which means forget it. I don't know what else you would think that means, but there are a lot of F words that happen in that stage and we can't bypass it. We just have to deal with it. And in doing that, we realized in the R stage that a lot of new responsibilities are coming our way. And there's a lot that we need to stop, reflect on. Hey, maybe reset could be in that stage here, right?
Could, yeah. Really, I'll rewrite it from my perspective.
Yeah. Reflect, reframe, reset, because we've got to do those first 2 things. And by the way, we jump around in this process before we slowly start overcoming obstacles, which is the O stage. And sometimes if you're really spending a lot of time in the freak out stage, the obstacle may just be getting dressed and showered, getting out of bed that day, showing up for the meeting at work you really don't want to go to. Or they can be big things, but it's a place to remember that over time we are going to overcome obstacles. And then in the G stage, we go, gee, wow, I would never have wished that on myself. And I wouldn't want to relive this thing again, maybe, but I'm growing. There is this weird gift, another G word, that shows up in that stage. And then ultimately in the S stage, we're stronger. Everyone is talking about resilience, myself included, but I really don't want to gloss over that word because resilience is not just this thing that we go out and get, or we're born with or we're not born with.
Right.
We get it by jumping through these hoops, these stages time and time and time again. And then we get stronger. And I say we crown a more sovereign, royal, expanded version of ourselves. So there isn't a magic prince that we kiss or a princess who shows up and saves the day. We sort of have to be there for ourselves.
I love how real it is. Like I said, and I love that you incorporate all of that. It's jumping around between stages because yeah, maybe you're making progress, right? And you've gone further down the stages, but then you fall back to freak out. It happens. And we have to acknowledge that. And I love that you said that some days, like if we use that language again, if you're waking up and you're intentional to make a reset for the day, it doesn't mean that every day's 100% is the same. Your 100% of what you can give based on the circumstances that you have might just be, like you said, it might just be that. It might be a fraction of what you can normally do or bring, but it's recognizing to take action and to do the best that you can. And that in itself will bring you through these stages as long as you're aware of them.
And those reset moments you talk about, Penny, I call them the power pauses. And I talk about the fact that I call them power pauses because I call them, that's where the pausability is. That's where the ability in the pause to choose is, so that we can make a powerful choice and get a better outcome. But even in doing that, sometimes you pause to your point and we say, you know what? I'm only operating at 30% today. Yesterday, I felt like I was at 90%, but pausing to say, oh, this is true for me. What do I most need and want? How do I treat this day? Even if it's just to say, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. If I get one thing done, great. Or if I push some things into the future, that's okay.
Well, and I think the other thing is also to communicate it, right? I mean, it's okay to say and to give yourself some grace and to let people know, because otherwise they're going to have a different expectation. So if you say, hey, listen, this is where I am today. I need a little space and grace today. Maybe if we can reorganize or negotiate what is due today, etc. I'm here. I want to do that. I think there's something to that about being able to communicate and say, hey, I need some support. I need a little bit of leadway today.
And if you're a leader, it's really powerful. I mean, leaders tell themselves they cannot be that candid. And I would argue you should be. Mm-hmm. I watched a leader go through breast cancer and all of her treatment and really not tell anybody. Well, the word got out as things go. And she never skipped a beat. And the gossip around the organization was, holy cow, is that what she would expect of us?
Right.
She keeps showing up and acting like she's okay. And that does not give us permission to not be okay. And some days, you know, I'm going to grab this journal and just share this quote that I love about the conversation we're having here. It's from The Artist's Way with Julia Cameron. And she wrote, growth is an erratic forward movement, 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Remember that and be very gentle with yourself. You may feel capable of great things on Tuesday, but on Wednesday, you slide backward. This is normal. Growth occurs in spurts. You will lie dormant sometimes. Don't be discouraged. Think of it as resting. And that you're kind of backing up for a giant leap forward. At least I find when I'm in those places of dormancy, there's a big something coming around the corner. And man, I wish I could see it, but I can't. But there's typically a breakthrough or growth coming.
I think as long as you know that it's coming, like, I don't think we always need to know the answer. I don't think we always need to see around the corner. And that's why any reset practice, like the frogs framework, it gives you a method to work through it.
Yes.
Understanding that you don't have to have all the answers. It just gives you a way to navigate your way through, understanding what's on the other side, but how do you feel in control or allow yourself to be wherever you are, but feel guided through a framework or a process?
Yeah, in writing the journal, I did research on frogs because that's what you do. And there's this kind of cool fact. It takes frogs between 20 and 25 weeks to actually grow, find their legs, grow them, and get adept at using them. So to me, that's being in the process of it. It's not like the tadpole goes, oh man, 20 to 25 weeks. I don't want to do that. Nah, I'll just stay a tadpole. We don't get the option. We have to go through the uncomfortable growth and the shedding of skin and growing of legs and all of that stuff that we can't see. Make no mistake about it, Penny. I created a journal I most needed way back then and even today. Honestly, looking back on it, I thought this is what I needed. It's kind of like the friend and the counselor that I could track my journey on, not knowing where it was going to go. And then in the back of the book is a place to make sure you are tracking your hops, your small progress and your milestones, big or small, because I always say hop is just one letter away from hope. So if we can see the hops along the way, we can have hope that it's leading us somewhere that the universe is trying to nudge us toward. Whether you're an individual, a leader, a team, or an organization. And I spend most of my work with leaders, teams, and organizations, trying to help them get to their next why not moment.
So let's backtrack for a second. And why are we so bad at change? Like, why do we resist it? Why do we fight it? That in itself is what creates so much stress for us. Like, why do we do that?
We like stability. We kind of fake ourselves into thinking if nothing's changing, it's stable. But really, it's only in the unsettled state that we get to say, oh, in this unsettled state, now we ask questions like, what's possible and what could we do now? And we get innovative and we get creative. But we have to embrace it as the only way something better can come along is if we're in an unsettled state. I always tell my clients when I leave them at the end of an intervention, especially if it's a several day intervention, at the end of the day, I'll say, so do you feel like your feet are firmly planted in midair? And they usually go, yeah. I go, that's exactly where I want you. Because we want to be intentional before you land. Because if you set your telescope up on a waterbed to see the moon, you're not going to see it. So I need you suspended long enough that when you land, it's on solid ground. And now you have a clear vision of where you're going.
Yeah, that's good.
We don't like it. We like certainty, which is really a joke. There's no such thing.
Right. There's no such thing. It's just interesting. But we like surprises. We like the surprises we want, right? So, but we don't like to have the surprises we don't want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in my prayers, I go, oh, Lord, please, this or something better. I mean, I don't want anything worse. Like this or something better, please.
Right. So within frogs, what I like in your journals, you use a lot of questions, right? Questions can be a powerful, in my language, a powerful reset tool to guide people, kind of like to give them an area to put their focus in and to move them away from perhaps they were thinking about all that could be wrong or all that's not working. And with a simple question, well, what is working, right? It shifts the attention. So you have a lot of really great questions in there that really help you to dig deeper or to explore, to a lot of space just to openly journal as well with how powerful it is. What are some of your favorite questions to help people to reset? Let's say they don't have your journal, they're listening. What's one or two of your favorite questions?
That is a good question. What are my favorite questions? It's funny because I do it naturally and I ask more questions than I don't because I come in and that's really the value I bring is asking the questions. So one of the things I like to do is start with teams to look at their past history and unpack it. And the question I ask them there is, knowing that the past serves one purpose and only one purpose, which is to learn from it. What of your past do you want to make sure you bring into your desired future state? And what no longer serves you? It did. There was a time and a place for it, but you've outlived it. You've outgrown it. And that usually stops people in their tracks because so few busy teams and organizations stop to reflect on things like that.
Awesome. Well, we'll leave our audience with that. I think that's a great question for people to be thinking about, especially because we are in changing times right now more than ever, right? So, and I think that this question can really help us to get focused on now and the future and learn from the past as opposed to still whine about what's not fair and all of those types of things. So that's awesome. So we just have a couple more minutes left. I ask every guest this question now, right, in the wake of my upcoming book, or I guess the wake is afterwards, but whatever.
Anticipation.
Yeah, in the anticipation. So, and you already know a little bit, but most people don't know. And I say, well, if you were to define what a reset mindset means, what does it mean to you? And why is it important?
I had a mentor who very succinctly said, awareness does not lead to change necessarily. Awareness leads to choice. Choice leads to change. So it's only in the pause, to me, that it's like the nanosecond between something happening and us getting aware of it, where we get to make a conscious decision that we can find some control. Maybe influence is a better word. We have more influence on the outcome. But when I remember that I always have three choices, I can try to influence or change something. accept it as it is, even temporarily, or get out of it. Now I know I have choice. I have control.
Mhm.
That's as
And
much.
that is control, right? It is control, right? Control over what you choose.
Yep.
You can't control the outcome or any of those other things. It does give you more of a sense of feeling in control. And I think that also reduces a lot of stress, right? When we feel like we have that choice. I have a mentor that also said something in that nature, but he said, just because we change for change's sake, right? Change doesn't mean anything. The change does not equal progress. We need to make sure that the choices we're making and the changes that we're making are leading us towards progress.
And when we're disoriented or we're in the middle of a change, I think it can get overwhelming. What I try to remind the people I work with about is sometimes we just have to choose our next right move. That's as far as we can see, and that's as much as we can control. And if we string those together, we do get somewhere really meaningful, but it doesn't always feel like it. And so when it feels overwhelming, just say, what's my next right choice? That's
Absolutely.
it. Keep on going.
Keep on. I hop from reset moment to reset moment. That's how I hop.
Exactly.
So where can people find out more information about you and your books and everything about Brenda?
If you go to Brenda, the letter K, Reynolds.com, that's my website. You'll find most anything you need. Both books are available on Amazon, so you can look up TBD, To Be Determined, Leading with Clarity and Confidence in Uncertain Times, or The Five Frogs Transformation Journal, both on Amazon. And you'll find me on all of the major platforms too, Brenda K. Reynolds.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
You are quite welcome. Now we'll make our next big leap.
Yes, now we'll make our next big leap. So thank you all for being here. It's time for us to leap to our next thing. And for you, maybe you'll stay a little on your lily pad and you'll reflect and you'll answer that question. Take some time to think about that. Take that reset moment, take a power pause, and make sure you're setting up your next step. You don't need to know all the steps, as Brenda said, but it's good to decide what is your next step. So with that, my name is Penny Zenker. I'm your host. This is Take Back Time, and we'll see you in the next episode. Hey, thank you for spending this time with me. It really means a lot. If you're feeling a little off, distracted, overwhelmed, stuck, or just out of sync, remember that's your signal to reset. And that's all it takes, just recognizing one reset moment at a time. So stay tuned for more tips, tools, tricks, stories, strategies, all here on Time to Reset. We'll see you in the next episode.